In this anime, we'll follow the story of a depressed quiet boy in the classroom who managed to be happy thanks to a girl. The story begins at Katahiri High School with our protagonist, Miyamura, who his entire class considers to be the terrifyingly quiet otaku of the classroom. But before we focus on him, we have to focus on Hori, the popular girl from Miyamura's classroom, who always rejects any plans that her friends propose to her to do after classes, since she must return home early to take care of the chores. This is because her parents spend most of their time working. In addition, Hori is also responsible for taking care of her brother, Soda. These factors force her to refuse each plan with her friends, but she doesn't mind. One day, like any other, her brother went out to play, and when he returned, he was all beaten up because he failed. However, a boy who by her standards was not ugly at all comforted her brother and took him to Hori's house. After she thanked him, the guy was about to leave, but Sora stopped him. Hori took advantage of this to invite him to stay for a while. At the end, the guy went from leaving to staying in the house. While they talk about Sora's injury, the boy mentions to Hori that he was surprised to discover that she does the chores in her house. So, she thought he went to the same school as her. That's why he knew her. But the reality was that this guy was Miyamura. Hori can't believe it. Couldn't either when she sees him back at school, but since Sora wants to see Miyamura again, the girl asks him to visit them again. Our protagonist accepts and tells her that he's surprised by the fact that she has spoken to him at school, as if she doesn't care about rumors. What he expected after the last talk the day before was her avoiding him. Hori asks why she should do that if they were alike. He hides the way she dresses outside of school, and she tries to hide the fact that she's almost a housewife. These words cheer Miyamura up. Since it is not usual to receive such good treatment from people, the visit of the hero to the house of Hori was the first of many. So little by little, the girl was getting to know her classmate better. For example, she now knows that he is not an otaku in his entirety, that his family has a pastry shop, and that the person he has were not professionally made. To say it in another way, the Almighty protected him from having a huge infection and died. Apart from that, she also discovered that he's a bad student with grades, unlike her who gets all grades as fucking 10. Don't worry people, that's not about grades. It's not about performance, and yet I didn't have good grades at school, but it was only because of my behavior and a fucking teacher who hated me. One of those days, Hori sees a special discount at the supermarket to buy eggs. This only lasts until 4 p.m. the next day. Hori had faith that she could leave classes early and go to the supermarket, but she was summoned to a committee meeting. As a last hope, she sent Miyamura the bad things that when she gave the order to him, it was 20 minutes to 4 p.m. So Miyamura had to reincarnate his body in his body to arrive on time. During his career, the boy runs into Yuki, who we could say is Hori's best friend. After Hori knew that Yuki saw Miyamura in her handsome version, she got jealous and told him that she doesn't want anyone else to see him in this true appearance. And before you say, fucking toxic girlfriend, you're not even his girlfriend, Miyamura felt the same as her. The right to see her as she looks at home is something he wants to have for him only. After Hori insulted Miyamura because what he said was too compromising, the days pass, and because they will have swimming class, Hori discovers that our protagonist has tattoos. These aren't good at all since he will have problems if teachers in class will discover them. The good thing is that swimming was an optional subject, because Miyamura is very close to Hori at school. One of those days, Toru, one of the girl's friends, approaches to talk to Miyamura. The only thing he wanted to know was if he and Hori were dating. Miyamura gives him a negative answer, but apart from that, Miyamura discovers that Toru is in love with Hori. Something that was supposed to be Toru's big secret. Due to this small interaction, the boys get alone and start talking more to the point that Miyamura showed Toru his tattoos. However, one of those days, Toru asks for permission to confess his feeling to Hori. Miyamura doesn't understand why he did it since it's not like Hori belonged to Miyamura, but Toru told him that he felt like something he had to do. Toru asks Hori to go out with him after school so she can attend. Miyamura tells the girl that he will be picking up her brother from school. As he spends time with Sora, Miyamura realizes that if his friends start dating, he will probably be a hydrant, which Hori will ask him to stop visiting her. Fortunately for him, when the girl returned, she began to complain because when she was talking to Toro, she learned that Miyamura told him in the past that Hori and Miyamura couldn't be a couple, since the two are not compatible. Miyamura had to explain that he meant that he didn't want to damage Hori's reputation, but the girl interrogated him that what the fuck does that matter to him? Hori makes it clear that he's already part of her life, so she doesn't care what people can say about her because she's friends with him. After calming down, the girl tells him that she rated Toro. Well, there goes another fallen brother in the friend zone. When they're returning from shopping, Hori discovers that her mother arrived early from work. Hori's mother didn't know Miyamura's existence, so when Sora told her who he was, she asked her daughter for details. Tells you that Hori discovered that she doesn't know what her friend's name is because Miyamura is her last name. Then she decided to find out what his name is. However, it was more complicated than she thought because first, the list of classmates can only be seen by professors and last. Miyamura is not intelligent, so he doesn't appear in the list of the best students. Hori couldn't study either since he was still in pain due to friendzone. Therefore, since Miyamura will go to her house the next day and her mother will be there, she placed all her hopes in Miyamura and her mother's first introduction. Since when he shows up with her mother, he will tell her his full name. What she didn't expect was that her mother would send her for an errand to talk to Miyamura's alone. How did Hori's mom calculate the timing so well? No idea. Mother powers, I guess. So Hori couldn't figure out what her friend's name is. Hori didn't care if Miyamura got offended, so she asked him his name directly. The girl discovered that his name is Izumi, but since pronouncing it felt strange, she will continue to call him just Miyamura, meaning that all her effort to discover his name was meaningless. Because of how good and intelligent Hori is, she has begun to constantly help the student council without being part of it. However, the work began harder and she couldn't sleep anymore. Yuki let her know that she didn't look well, but still Hori continued to help the student council. Tori and Miyamura also noticed the change in Hori, but even if they want to help, they cannot because they are idiots. On one occasion, Ayasaki, one of the members of the student council and the girlfriend of Sengoku, the president of the student council, received some files from Hori. Ayasaki ended up falling when she bumped into Miyamura. They began to pick the files, but due to the rules of the girl, Miyamura was left with one file, since according to Ayasaki, she didn't need it, and told him that he could throw it in the trash. When Miyamura arrived at the school the next day, she discovered that Sengoku was requesting to Hori the lost file. The worst thing is that Ayasaki was there listening to Sengoku blaming Hori for the lost file. Such a bitch. Since that, Miyamura did the only logical thing to do, to punch and insult. He also said the truth about the lost file and gave it to Sengoku. Sengoku is a reasonable person, so he started arguing with his girlfriend. After this, we discovered that the reason Hori helps the president is so that he doesn't reveal that in the past she was an abuser with him. He is bullied, practically. Hori's birthday is approaching, so Miyamura begins to think about what to give her as a present. While he's debating that, this girl begins to question what will be of their relationship after they graduate. In next chapters, we see how Miyamura suffered rejection from his classmates for being weird, and the situation was repeated from primary to secondary. No one wanted to talk to him because he was awkward. Because of the excessive loneliness he was exposed to, the guy randomly thought it was a good idea to get a person, but like DIY, time passed and it wasn't not until he started high school that another person treated him as a normal human being. Exactly, that was Hori. The reason why they didn't become friends at that time is a mystery that doesn't matter since they are now besties. The third school year begins, and fortunately to Miyamura, he'll be in the same class as his friends. But now the guy begins to question if he really belongs to that group or is just an intruder. As my uncle would say, stupid kids can bear a thing. When Miyamura was alone with Toro, he asked him that, what he thought him as his friend. After Toro asked him why he makes him say things that sounds a bit curious, he answered that Miyamura is a strange friend, but it is okay for him. The words that Miyamura would have wished he could have said to himself 10 years ago. After this, Hori hits them both because they were doing an assignment and they were ready. Because Sora started elementary school and must attend school early, Hori never arrived earlier as well. Less supported because she takes him to school. One day, while waiting for the rest to arrive, Ayasaki appears, who begins to talk about Miyamura. Upon learning that Hori is not his girlfriend, she tells her that she'll make him fall in love with her. However, Hori responds that she cannot because even if Hori is not his girlfriend, Miyamura only belongs to her. Saying that and adding the fact that she spends more time alone with Miyamura as Sora goes out to play, proves the inevitable. Hori falls in love with the main character. By the way, you probably already hate Ayasaki, and I don't blame you, but you have to know that what she said to Hori was just a joke that got out of control. However, Torio heard this from the very Ayasaki wife. She tells Sakura, another student council member, so he concluded that Hori was in love with Miyamura. However, when he told him about that, Miyamura refused to accept it. Torio kept insisting and made Miyamura sick. Also, Miyamura got scared, so this one hit him. Torio returned the blow, and what happened after this was that Miyamura gave Torio the fuck lesson of his life, but they're still bros. That is the more important thing. One day at the end of school, Toru had Sakura pick up some papers that she lost. While they were in the student council office, the guy discovered that the girl does a lot of work, even much more than Sengoku and Ayasaki do. Despite that, she is the less outstanding of the three. Admired, Toru tells her that it is surprising that she works so hard when no one observes her. Due to his encounter with Sakura, Toru was delayed in arriving with Miyamura, who was waiting for him to return home together. Hori was with Miyamura moments ago before, and as she knows that he cannot take off his jacket since Kazan and teacher will see his tattoo, he gave him ice cream so that he wouldn't die of heat. There was also ice cream for Toru, but since the flavor was melon and the guy cannot eat it, they took advantage of the fact that Kyoko was passing by to give it to him. As they spoke, the president gave them permission to go to the student council office and cool off with their air conditioning. As it is summer, the group of friends spend the rest of their day visiting the student council office. On one of those visits, they sent Hori and Miyamura to buy sodas while they're out. The rest of the group of friends took the opportunity to talk about Hori and Miyamura and how well they get along. But because it took so long to return, Toru had a heart attack or something, imagining what the main character might be doing alone. To top out his luck, Miyamura dropped his soda, and well, you know what happens when a soda is being shaken too much. When studying, Hori realizes that Miyamura doesn't mind undressing to show his status, so the girl begins to wonder if he is really not ashamed. The dog was so shocked that she asked Miyamura to undress, and our guy did it as nothing. Upon learning that he was being tested, our guide tells her that he is not ashamed to take off his chair, but he is of other kinds of things. For example, that same day in the morning he ran into Shindo, a friend from high school. Shindo asked Miyamura if he and Hori were a couple. Our guide tells Hori that he didn't think about it and answered yes. However, then he felt embarrassed. It's a loose example, but it is what it is. Our guide told the girl he would reveal the truth to Shindo, but she said she didn't want to. However, just when his phone rang, Shindo had sent him a message and thanks to that, Hori discovered that Miyamura has an unusual way of threatening his friend. Not many days later, Toru and Hori met Shindo in person. Despite how rude our guide pressed him, Shindo considered him a good friend. The relationship didn't start in the best way. Since high school, Miyamura was the quiet of the class that doesn't relate to anyone, but little by little, Shindo entered to his life. That is, despite the fact that the rest of the classmates told him that he should leave Miyamura alone. Few days pass and Hori gets a cold. The girl cannot believe it since it is summer, but the thermometer doesn't lie, so she must stay home. Then Susora, our guy, found out, so he skipped school in the morning to take care of his dearest friend. While the girl was sleeping, Miyamura, in the coldest way possible, tells her that he's in love with her, and then he leaves to school as if nothing. You have to recognize that the guy has guts, since he knew very well that Hori wasn't asleep. Hori forgot that she had a cold and immediately started thinking about what she would do the next day. Hori pretended to stay sick so she wouldn't go to school, as she still doesn't know how to do it with the Miyamura's confession. Later that day, when Sora returned from school, he saw a fat guy walking with a girl who was clearly to harm. When Sora told her sister, she immediately thought Miyamura was cheating on her, but even if she wants to clarify her doubts, she is not even able to send a message to her guy. When she returned to school, the girl tried to go unnoticed by Miyamura. At first, she managed it, but Toru realized what she was doing, so he told Miyamura, who didn't fight it hard, to catch the girl off guard. Hori tried to avoid him, but Miyamura stopped her by asking if she heard his confession. She didn't answer and instead asked him who the girl he was walking with the day before was. Hori discovered that it was Shinzo's girlfriend, Chika, but since Miyamura mentioned her name many times, Hori gets jealous and annoyed, so she hits off with their box. Then she ran away. When she arrived at home, Hori realized that obviously what she did was wrong, but she didn't take time to blame herself since Miyamura appeared at her home. He wanted to return the books she threw at him since she couldn't leave them to do school assignments. At first, the atmosphere between the two was uncomfortable, but Hori accepts her guilt and apologizes for hitting him. Returning to the conversation about the confession, the girl confirms that she heard everything, but before he can receive an answer, Hori's father, Kyoko, appears, which is the personifying wine. The older the better, the fucking grandfather. This is a typical man who lives a relaxed life, so he doesn't mind that his daughter treats him as he were garbage. Everyone shows affection in his own way, right? No. After annoying the protagonist a little, Kyoko asks his daughter if she is Miyamura's girlfriend, and she replies that yes. In this way, the answer to Miyamura's confession was delivered. When they could be alone, our guy promises Hori that although he doesn't know much about her, little by little he wants to get to know her better. And that's it, people. Our guy managed it and now he has a girlfriend. Toru was the first to hear the news since Miyamura told him. Fortunately, it was by phone, so he could cry without anyone saying it. The following day, Toru looked sad and Sakura noted it. The girl began to act unfocused, so Ayasaki asked her what was going on. At first, she didn't want to tell her since her friend is beautiful and she wouldn't understand it. Since in her case, she considers herself a horrible person with a horrible attitude. But when she realized that Ayasaki considers her a beautiful person, Sakura confesses that she is in love with someone, and who else but Toru. This, in his own way, asks Miyamura not to feel bad for him. Evident grudges behind the life of the couple of these two begins, which began well during the first day since the parents of his girlfriend like Miyamura and Hori had not yet gotten mad. But little by little the news of the relationship began to spread through the school, and Hori seems couldn't believe that she was with a loser like Miyamura, and the other girls could make fun of her for her bad taste in men. This angered Toru and Yuki, but in Hori's case it didn't matter. However, Oiga is a different case, so that they no longer make fun of his girlfriend. He appears one day with his hair cut. In this way, he went from being the quiet tank of the class to the most handsome of this one. However, now all the girls in the class have an interest in him. Hori, as a faithful capitalist in a communist country, tries to defend what is hers using a sword. On the other hand, we know Shu, a guy who is happiness personified and who was the one who was most surprised to see the change of Miyamura. In the case of Shindo, apart from being surprised, he began to suffer since he prefers much more than Miyamura with long hair. By the way, thanks to this one, Miyamura and Hori had their first outburst kiss, since he gave them sweet sour guy profit to give banana to his girlfriend with his mouth. God, what else do you want from me? And your son too. Now that the problem of pity season is over, a new one emerges which has a face and name. Sawara, a girl of the second year who wants her protagonist to break up with Hori. The worst thing is not that she wants it, but she told him directly. Apparently, she wants the main character to belong to her. Obviously, Miyamura replied that she'll never do it, but far from giving up the girls, tells him that this war is just beginning. When leaving class, the lovebirds ran into Sawara again, who put on a whole show to let Hori know how much she's in love with her. You didn't see that coming, did you? Besides, she makes it clear to Miyamura that he hates it. The following days consisted of these two fighting over Hori. The worst thing is that these two discover that they are neighbors because that day the girl forgot her key, and Miyamura's furious with her and invites her to come to his house. When talking, our guy discovers the girl had another brother, although she really hadn't mentioned it, so she tries to make Miyamura believe that she was joking. Later, and thanks to his mother, the guy learns that Sawara's brother died last year. From that moment, the relationship rivalry that these two had became almost like a siblings relationship. Miyamura took it upon himself to protect the girl and she agreed to be protected. The two romance of Hori and her guy lately Toro spends all his time with Yuki. One day while they were walking, the guy collided with Sakura and since she was carrying garbage, she stayed in her chair. While Toru went to look for something that Sakura could wear, Sakura asked Yuri if she's dating Toru. She answered no, but when she saw Sakura's happy face, Yuki is saddened. Toru returns and lends his jacket to Sakura so that she can cover herself. Of course, she didn't miss the opportunity. The girl becomes so happy that she dared to ask Sengoku why he's attracted to his girlfriend. But since I am sure that we all dislike Ayasaki, we will skip this. When she returned his jacket, the girl gave Toru some cookies of gratefulness. On the other hand, we see that Yuki has the strange mania of not being able to express what she wants when she wants something, and that is why she almost always ends up losing something she wants. For example, on one occasion she let a girl stay with a magazine she wanted even though it was the last one in the store and that she was the one who gave it first. Hori is aware of her friend's condition and since she is discouraged lady, she knows that there is something she wants to have. Yuki, on the other hand, has begun to be jealous of Sakura, so in one of those, she asks Miyamura to teach her how to cook cakes. The guy accepted and then discovered that the girl is not good at cooking despite the fact that her first cake was terrible. Toru tried it, ate it, and told the girl that he hopes to try it more in the future. On the other hand, we see the dependence and need that Hori has created around her boyfriend, since when he went downtown to visit a family member for 5 days, the girl was affected in such a way that she couldn't help crying when she saw him again. Remember, Gan, never depend your happiness on someone or something. Unless you depend on soccer, there you no longer have salvation, bro. The days passed, and in girls' meeting, they let Nori know that watching horror movies without her being scared ruined the charm of a date at home. With that in mind, the next time they met at her house, Hori tried to feign her favorite while watching a horror movie, but only managed to scare her boyfriend. The girl becomes sad, but when she comes down, Miyamura tells her that there is no need to pretend something she doesn't feel. He fell in love with her person and all of her qualities. Because of those words, the fact that they were alone and it was already that because it was raining, the lovebirds, well, they gave themselves passion and love, and our guy got tremendously bitten on the neck. This is a drastic change Miyamura has gone through. During a dream, our guy saw how he told his past self how the situation he was living would change for a good, and he will be able to experience what it's like to have friends, be loved by them, and he will be able to experience love. One day, while Hori tried on Miyamura's feet some glasses that she had stored, Miyamura wanted to put his foot on his girlfriend. The guy couldn't stand the temptation and didn't, but instead of receiving insistent blows from Hori, this was starting to develop masochistic behavior, since imagining Miyamura treating her with rudeness and sex to her. Well, no one judges here. One of those days, Hori asked her boyfriend to behave that way in school, but although he tried and scared his friends, he couldn't and let her know. But to fulfill a little the whim of his girlfriend, he took advantage of the fact that they were alone in a classroom to be rude to her, and, well, her face says it all. The same day, a boy confessed his love to Yuki. Yuki, instead of rejecting him directly, she kept him waiting for 4 fucking days. When she told his friends, she also told them that she couldn't reject him since she wouldn't feel bad. She would feel about him. Then Miyamura proposed that she should use a fake boyfriend, so the boy will know that he wasn't rejected, but he has no opportunity. The same but less painful, I think. Obviously, the person in charge to play the boyfriend was Toru. He had no problem with helping his friend, but his self-esteem was shattered when he saw that again the boy Yuki wanted to reject was better good-looking than a day on Bolivia's wishes. Again took the relation well and even told Toru that he was more handsome than him. Not only that, but he also became part of the group of friends. Before continuing, I remind you that you can subscribe to this channel. This is the post one in which you can support us. Thanks to you, our editor can eat a half Hori every 15 days. Although the criticism of the relationship has stopped, the problem of girls still continues, and from time to time, one or several approach Miyamura to flirt with him. Something that always angers Hori because they didn't even look at her because he's my cover. And now everyone wants to get along with him and they don't mind flirting with him, even if she's right there. One day while going home, our guide runs into Tanihara, the boy who treated him as trash in high school. He hasn't changed his treatment towards Miyamura, but when he was making fun of him and his girlfriend, the guy discovered that Hori is terrifying and solves a problem with violence. Shindo is friends with Tanihara, so when he met for lunch, he could see Tanihara's face after her response. Upon learning of what happened, Shinto knows that even though Tanihara has told him over the years that he doesn't care about Miyamura, he still can get him out of his head. On the other hand, Miyamura begins to have to deal with Hori's masochistic behavior till Yuki to her that day to ask him to slap her. Miyamura didn't want to, but in the end, he gave in. Till seen by Tanihara and his friend who were passing by, so they thought that our guy was rude and began to flirt him, since if they couldn't hit him with Hori, but they couldn't. This means that Miyamura is stronger than her, which leads them to think that Miyamura is stronger than Tanihara and his friends. It makes sense to me. On the way home, Miyamura began to wonder if his girlfriend is a psycho, but seeing her angelic face after the slap, he really doesn't give a shit. So he tells her that she will be his slave. Few days later, our guy continues to behave as Hori wants. Also, he has to deal with a boy who is in love with his girlfriend and doesn't consider him worthy of playing with her. On the other hand, Tanihara begins to dream about Miyamura. Why in a locker like this? No idea. Things have no explanation. The point is that, thanks to this, we discover that Tanihara's disgusting treatment towards our guide, Miyamura, began in high school when he blamed him for the death of the rabbits of his class that he forgot to feed during the summer holidays. However, Tanihara is sorry for what he did, so he decided to accept his guilt and tries to begin being friends with Miyamura. As for the day, Tanihara gets Miyamura's phone number and goes to his pastry shop to order something. Becoming a friend of our guy was not difficult because it was that simple at lunch. However, the two are not used to be friends with each other, so one day they ran into each other in the street and began to behave flirtatious. I don't know. Hori, who doesn't know if she must protect what is hers or no, makes it clear to Tanihara that he will not steal her boyfriend. The fact that Tanihara mentioned that the only one with whom Miyamura behaves with treacherous, Shindo, put a risk the life of this one who was just passing by. After Tanihara saves Shindo's life, Hori makes Miyamura promise that if he ever kills on her, it must be with someone who is at least a girl, so she wouldn't feel bad. I am only narrating the anime. If you have to burn someone, it is not me. One day, Yuki went shopping with her sister and they bumped into a can. Everything goes normal until her sister discovered that Yuki rejected the guy, so she began to complain about her bad decisions. On the other hand, the false courtship of Yuki and Tori is not yet over, so the news that they were a couple began to spread, and because of this, Sakura decided to ask Yuri directly if Yuki were dating Toru. Yuki didn't care less and lied to her. Because of the kill, Yuki felt the girl told Ayasaki the truth. Ayasaki told her that she wouldn't say anything to her friend if she confesses at that very moment that she's in love with Toru. The girl couldn't do it since, as you will remember, she's not able to accept and say that she wants something, but neither is letting Toru to be free for someone else to have him. After this conversation with Ayasaki, Yuki missed several days of class. This didn't surprise her sister, since it is not the first time she shows that behavior. So she tells her that whatever she wants to have, she must decide quickly if she's going to go for it or not. This somehow motivated Yuki, who turned on her phone after having it turned off to avoid her friends. As she did, she found out that one of the many messages she had was from Toru, who informed her that Sakura had confessed to him. Seriously, guys, the relationship of these two annoys me. I'm not going to make it long because it's not worth it. Toru rejects Sakura since he doesn't think he can go out with her because she's too good for him. And he's totally right. The relationship of Yuki and Toru stays enough. Maybe in the future we could be a couple, let's see what happens. On the other hand, and talking about something that is worth narrating, Sengoku helps Sakura to kill her sorrows. The girl doesn't hold a grudge against anyone, but doesn't mean she didn't cry with huge sadness. As conclusion of this are, fuck you, Yuki, and you can go to cheat. While talking to his friend, Toru tells them that Shu has a younger sister and his camp guide outside school is something very different from how he behaves in school. since in this, the guy is the typical extroverted screamer. After the bros have a conversation between bros and important things are discussed, such as what would happen if Goku was born in Argentina and was a Peronist and that Miyamura and Aken competed to see who is taller. Winning Aken, we focus on Sawara's problems to feel comfortable with boys, especially with Shu, who she finds annoying. The worst of all is that he appears not long after she said that and Sawara told him that straight to his face. Sawara thought that Shu was angry about what she said because later that day he helped her take some boxes to the laboratory but didn't say a word to her. The reality is that the guy got sick and didn't want to infect anyone, so he remained silent the rest of the day. Sakura saw how the next day Sawara was spying on Shu, who had already been cured, and when Sawara told Sakura that she offended Shu, Sakura cannot believe her because they're talking about Shu and this guy has never been mad at anyone. Sakura considers the lightest possibility that what Sawara said is true, so she asks if she wants to apologize to him because she wants to please him. Just in that moment, Shu appears, and since the girls were taken by surprise, Sawara treats Shu as bad as always. On the other hand, Motoko, Shu's younger sister, has a problem. She's about to graduate from high school and wants to apply to an Ivy League high school. However, her grades are not good, and not because she doesn't study. The girl tries hard, but no matter how hard she tries, she doesn't understand anything. That added to the fact that her teacher mocked her when he discovered which school she wanted to apply to, obviously studying Motoko. When Shu learns of this and after consoling the sadness of his sister, he asks Hori to give tutoring to Motoko. Hori realized that her friend is a good older brother, and as if it is for helping someone, she accepted. During her first tutoring, the only thing the girls did was talk. This is because Hori wanted Motoko to feel comfortable, changing radically. We see how the friendship of Toru and Yuki has strengthened to the point that now they meet in the guy's house. Thanks to this, the girl discovered that her friend is all rich. Toru by his own had discovered while talking with the council's president and Shu that he is in love with Yuki, but Toru did not mind the relationship he currently had with Yuki, so he lets her, but it's not like he will do something to be her boyfriend. During one of Yuki's visits to Toru's house to finish a game they started, he seemed like didn't want her to visit him, and the reason until the hero has a faithful name, Yashiro, the servant or something like that, from Toru's house. The reason he didn't want Shiro to meet Yuki is that she always asking him questions about Yuki. So now that she knows her, this question will increase. After Yashiro trained Tori with not doing anything stressed because she will tell his mother, the friends finally get to play. The days pass and we see that their relationship with Sengoku's and Ayasaki has little huge problem. The guy doesn't dare to visit her because in Ayasaki's house a family collects insects and he has phobia for those. But hey, more important than that, time has passed and Hori realized that very soon she will graduate from high school. She has never thought about what she will do in the future, so she doesn't know where she will be in a year. Christmas arrived and people began to prepare for it. Sakura tried to convince Sangoku to visit his girlfriend's house that day, and Hori informed her family that Miyamura would be busy at the bakery, so he wouldn't be able to accompany them. However, since they had ordered a cake in his pastry shop days ago, the guy came to Hori's home to deliver, so Hori's family is forced him to stay an hour. On his way back to the shop, Hori accompanied him, and she reminds her boyfriend that they will soon graduate, so she tells him that she wants to continue by his side when that happens. Miyamura has no problem with that, since he wants to marry her. Expressing his desire, the girl promises him that she will make him very happy when that happens. And that's it, now they're engaged. If this do end the relationship, Miyamura's character development will be brutal draw. The time continues and now the graduation was closer than ever. These problems for the boys began since they had to withdraw their belongings from their lockers, and that's a big problem. On the other hand, the students council and Akan put together a tremendous plan to go on a trip after graduation. Also, one day, while appreciating his girlfriend, Miyamura begins to think that if he had never helped Sora, his life would have been totally different. He would never have started being the guy excluded from the class. He would never have begun to be happy. That was what he was thinking until he remembered everything he did with his friends, and he realized that in one year or another, the universe, space, or whatever would have pulled the string so that his life would be identical to the one he has now. Graduation day comes, and in this, our guide ruins Sengoku's farewell speech. Hori tried to wipe out her father since she didn't want him to attend, and Miyamura went into schizophrenic mode because he was apparently ignoring his past self. So he promised him he wouldn't do it again or something like that. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. But well, this ends the only season of Horimiya. Motoko, who managed to get into the school she wanted, the indecisive couple living in good terms, the relationship with the people they rejected, and Miyamura and Hori have closed a chapter in their romantic life, which is just the beginning.